Hello everybody, welcome to the first day of March. I apologize if I look like a mess at the moment. It's been a day, it's only noon, but I have a homework assignment coming up and I really wanted to include you guys in this because I feel like it's something you would enjoy. So one of my creative writing classes has me doing sort of an on the occasion essay. And on an occasion essay is essentially writing a paper about this idea that you have. There is an essay by Virginia Woolf. It's about her going into town to buy a pen to write the essay. And we're doing something like that. And for us, it is writing a paper about an idiom or a cliche. And so the one I chose was judging a book by its cover, and I figured this would be a great thing to make a video about. Essentially what we have to do is that we have to take the idiom literally. We have to live out this idiom. There was a kid last year who did this assignment and he did the idiom out on a limb, and he literally climbed a tree and sat on a limb for 8 hours. And then this girl did walking on eggshells, and so she made a lot of omelets and then laid out all the eggshells and walked on them and wrote down her experience about that. So that, I really want to do something that I'm generally interested in. For me, that is books. So it's going to take a bit longer for me to do than everyone else, which is why I'm starting so early. I have 10 to 15 days to read the book and then write the essay about my experience. And I figured I should probably vlog along the way. And so what I have planned is that I am going to pick out a bunch of different books I have that I don't know too much about. I'm going to have a friend come over, they're going to pick one, and then I'm going to give the idea of what I think that this book is going to be about. And then I'm going to read it and I'm going to compare what I think versus what it actually is. And I cannot wait because this seems fun. This seems fun. Alright, I picked out some books, and then I'm going to call one of my friends in here so she can pick one for me to read. I got a decent variety of genres, I think. I tried to pick the books I know the least about and I can read in a relatively short amount of time, so let's see how this goes. Okay, pick one. Why that one? Esprit. Okay. That's all I needed you for. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Okay, now you pick a book. This is Julie. Now, Julie, you pick a book. That one? Okay. Why'd you pick that one?
Because it's pretty.
Okay.
So was that one. Those are my two choices.
Okay.
And I'm like, that one's a book. So we have to pick now?
Yeah, pick now.
Can I read the backs?
No. The assignment is judge a book by its cover.
This one.
This one.
That one. Okay.
We are so opposite.
I know.
Okay.
I go for the bright and bold colors.
See, that was my second one, but this one immediately stuck out to me because I love hardcover books and I like princesses.
I'm also cheap.
All of these are blue, and then that's red. That's why.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, Sarah, you've got some color coordination differences going on because they all have dark covers, but that one's the only one with red. This one's got some very pretty purples, though.
Okay.
And greens, oranges.
Audrey, you picked the book jumper.
Yeah.
Maya, you picked the pirate. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And why did you pick those?
Pretty girl.
Okay.
Color.
Hardcover. Oh my gosh, look at the...
It's bold.
The spine is hard, and we've got like the...
oh,
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh.
Look, it adds personality.
The back looks good too. This will look so good on a bookshelf.
Alright, so I spent the night thinking about it, and I'm gonna make up a summary for this book based entirely off its cover. And the fact that I'm pretty sure there was a movie with the same kind of premise, so I'm gonna include those aspects. But I think that it's about a girl who can go into books, and she wants to live out like a fantasy life there, like literal escapism. And along the way, she meets a guy, because it looks like a romance disguised as a fantasy. So she meets a guy, and cute lovey-dovey stuff, ew, and then she notices that there's stuff missing from these books. Like, she keeps going into them, and stuff keeps disappearing. Because I'm pretty sure there's a movie where people could draw, like, items out of a book. So I think that there is the antagonist who is stealing stuff from the books, and she and the guy that she meets in the books have to go on an adventure to retrieve all the items and defeat the bad guy. So that's what I'm saying this book is about before reading anything about it. Like, just entirely off its cover, I think it's that. My predicted rating for this book is probably So this is probably like a 3 or like 3.5. I don't think it's going to be my new favorite, but I don't think it's going to be too entirely awful either. I bought this really cheap. It was like $1.50 or like $2 or something. Like, I think it's going to be that kind of quality of a discount book, but I have hopes. Like, it's a pretty cover, apparently. That's what everyone says. So I am going to read it with those expectations. And yeah. Alright, so I read the first chapter, and so far, nothing is neither incorrect or correct. It's just the characters getting settled into a new location. Apparently, like, the main character, like, her mom was, like, 17 when the main character was born, and so, like, they literally call the mom by her first name, and that's kind of confusing, but, I mean, I'll get used to it soon. It's a fairly quick read. The writing structure isn't anything complex. I can, like, go through it pretty quickly. Read the first chapter, read the prologue. The chapters seem to be separated by, like, little quotes from, like, really famous books. The first one was from Sherlock and stuff, and then the next one was from, like, a fairy tale, like Princess and the Castle sort of thing. So, overall, like, all we know is that these characters are running away from something, and that the main character does not know of her powers, but everyone in her family has that. So, that's what we know at the moment, and I guess I should probably... I really want to get back to the other book I was reading, so it might take a while for me to get through this one. Alright, it is a new day, and I'm officially over 100 pages in the book jumper. 100 pages has kind of always been my cutoff point of, like, this is where I stop spoiling things, like, for booktube and stuff. So far, this book has actually been pretty entertaining, really surprising. I did not think I would like this book too much. It just didn't look interesting to me, which I don't know why I bought it. Maybe it was because it was cheap, but really need to stop doing that. But it's just, this book is like... The main character, obviously Mary Sue, not that interesting. But, like, the world around her is just so fascinating. I was like, yes, I was correct when saying this is going to be literal escapism. But it's like, it's the kind of escapism you see in fanfiction, and I'm so used to seeing that, it doesn't bother me. But it's just so nice just to see it in physical form. I'm literally, like, the other book I'm reading right now is based off of Japanese mythology, so it feels like I'm reading 2 different fanfictions at the moment, and it's so weird to, like, have physical fanfiction in my hand. Something just happened in the book, which, again, it's past page 100, so I can't really tell you, but something just happened in this book, and it definitely made me stop, and, like, I had to text one of my friends saying, hey, can I come over and talk to you about this book? Because, yeah, it's just like that, and so I didn't think this book would have that effect on me. It just didn't look like it, so... The whole assignment, judging a book by its cover. I clearly did. I didn't think I would like this. I mean, only on barely over page 100, so I have a lot to go, but, like, so far, it's definitely beaten my expectations. I really haven't gotten a chance to read at all today, because I've been cramming for a midterm I am just so not prepared for. But I did have time to think about the thing that happened in this book more, and it's just... It's like, it's very hard for a book to, like, stick in my mind the way that this one is. It's just, yeah, okay, again, judging it by its cover, you didn't think this book would be the one that sticks in my mind, especially when I'm reading Shadow of the Fox or whatever. Because Shadow of the Fox is such a good book, and I'm like, it's, like, beautiful and everything, but then I'm also reading this book at the same time. Why is this the book that is sticking in my head? Because it did something so stupid and, like, out of the ordinary, and it happened, and I cannot wait till I'm done with my midterm so I can finish reading this book. Here's the thing though, like, they have a chance to screw it up. Like, it is so possible that the author takes the easy route out, or they do a cliche that is, like, so common, and, like, it's just one of those book tropes, and if they do that trope, that would kind of ruin this book for me. So I'm really hoping they stick to what they got. But, like, same time, there are legitimate repercussions for what happens, and I really don't know how they're gonna fix that. So, it's just, if they go and undo what happens, because that is a thing that authors do, I will hate this book. Like, I will feel no qualms throwing it out the window, because I'm there, because I am so dedicated to that thing that happens, and if they screw it up, well, it's gone. Alright, spring break has officially started. I'm finally back home. Midterms happened. I died on the inside. And then I read about, since I last filmed, I read about 100 pages. And not much has really happened. Kind of more like explanation on what exactly is being stolen from the books. Like it is not just items like I originally thought it would be. It is ideas. Like the thief managed to steal the White Rabbit's ability to talk. They managed to steal the summer of Midsummer Night's Dream. Again, really not much has happened since then. And it's a pretty, like, easy read. Like, I'm not feeling like I'm lacking information, but trying to explain it to you guys, like, there's definitely some things missing. Like, they think they know who the thief is. Well, the main character thinks they know who the thief is. Will, the side character, the tag-along, is, like, really like, hey, I don't think that's right. But yeah. Oh, so remember how I said I was really convinced that this was going to be a romance disguised as a fantasy? Well, halfway through the book, the main character is yet to have any love interest, but her mother is very young. Like, she had the main character back when she was like 17 or something. So her mother is actually in a romantic relationship at the moment. And it's just like, I think that's what the cover is. So I think that's the mother on the cover, because her mother is I think, yeah, this is kind of a spoiler. It's not really involved with the plot, but it's far enough in the book, it's a spoiler. So be warned. Her mother is in a romantic relationship with a character from a book. And the character from the book, his book was just a manuscript, and the manuscript got destroyed. And luckily, the book jumpers managed to save the characters, but they're forced to live in the human world now. And so this book character is in a relationship with Alexis, the main character's mother. And so I think that's what this cover of the book is referring to. It's the mother and her love interest. I think his name is like Damien or something. Because we keep seeing little snippets between the chapters of what that manuscript was written about. And it's about this knight who was sent to kill this beast for a princess, but he was killed at the end of the book. And so I think that the knight on the cover is Damien. I think, and Alexis, the mother, is the girl on the cover, which is really weird to have the mother of the main character be the character featured on the cover, but I think that's why I was getting a romance vibe from this book, because it's showing a picture of a romance. It's just the wrong characters. I've read maybe 5 pages since I've last vlogged, and apparently there is a love interest, and I've just been that oblivious, or it literally came out of nowhere. I mean, honestly, both answers would not surprise me. But, so what happened is that the character who I thought was 14 is actually like 15, 16, so he's like sort of the same age as the main character, who is like 16, 17 or something. And so, yeah, okay, for context, the scene before, they just got in an argument with a person who is important to both of them, and they're like not doing well mentally. And so the guy turns to the girl and he's like, hey, do you like pancakes? Because he wants to go make breakfast for this girl, because it's like getting on like 3 in the morning or whatever, and they're both tired and hungry. So, you know, and that cues up a makeout section. And, and so we get this little line of dialogue from the main character's head, and she's like, oh, the book world's in danger, but who cares, because we're in love, and, ugh, like, I get it, these characters have been living together for, like, the past 3 months, so it didn't come out of nowhere, like, but it came out of nowhere, okay? You gotta understand my point of view. I did not think these characters would be together. I did not think they were the same age. Apparently they are, and I still think the cover is the mother, though. That makes sense in my mind, but I thought this book would be good. I almost made it to page 300. I thought this book was going to be 5 stars, and let's hope that in this instance I am wrong. Everything was fine until I got to page 269. Like, I don't even, what do I say to this? This is a flat out spoiler, but I need to tell you guys because, okay, So there kind of is like this cute little montage of like, oh, they're kissing, and then they're on the couch, and then they're like going through photo albums, and then it's like okay, you're establishing a relationship in one paragraph. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we don't have much of the book left. We gotta like speed through some stuff. And there's a part where the main character falls off the couch that they're on. And again, this is 100% a spoiler, but at this very moment, I do not care. She looks under the couch, and she finds all the items that were stolen. Like, I'm sorry. The thief's hiding place is under the couch in the living room. Do you know how often I look under the couch in my living room? Because I drop stuff under my couch all the time. I will fight the world, okay? Like, I was liking this book. I was enjoying this book, and then this book failed me. Okay, so I haven't gotten much reading done today because one, I got to go see Captain Marvel, which, beauty. And two, I've been working on finally outlining one of my books, which is one of my New Year's resolution is to outline a book, and I think I finally have a plot. And so I haven't gotten much reading done, but it's enough to talk about. So the characters, like, they're pretty sure they know who the thief is. And, I mean, it's, like, surprisingly obvious now I look back on it, but I didn't call it, which is really weird for me, because normally I can, like, figure out, like, oh, obviously this is where the characters go. But, like, I wasn't really focused on doing that with this book. Like, it was really good at, like, engrossing me in the story, but not wanting me to, like, analyze it, which is something I do all the time. So they finally have a very strong idea of who the thief is, figured out the motive, they figured out who is doing it, now they just have to fix it. And, there's like 70 pages left. That is either way too much or way too little, so I am concerned about how they're going to wrap this up. Yeah. Okay, I just finished The Book Jumpers, and oh boy, the ending is nothing like the beginning. There is a complete and utter tone shift. Because in the beginning, it's this wonderful, magical escapism. You're literally jumping into the books. They go into The Little Prince. They go into Shakespeare. They go into all these beautiful classics and like Peter Pan and Sherlock. And it's filling your head with like, look at what we can do. And the first half is wonder, and the second half is humanity. It's not the context of the story. The story itself was amazing. Like, it was well written, I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed the plots, but it went from this wonder of jumping into these fanciful worlds to, hey, we need to save these worlds, to, hey, there's this one specific thing that has to be done. And I am going to talk about spoilers here, so if you do plan on reading The Book Jumpers, I am specifically talking about the ending, so do not listen to this part. But the story, we realize that the thief is actually this princess from the story that we've been hearing on and on. The character, I said his name is Damien. His name is not Damien, but I will continue to call him Damien. And so, the story that Damien is from, because remember, he's a fictional character who was saved from a burning manuscript and brought into the real world. He wasn't the only one, though. There's a couple other people that came with him. And one of those people was the princess of this fairy tale. And, well, she escaped and then she went into a deep sleep for 300 years. During her sleep, she was still kind of conscious, and she promised herself if she ever woke up, she would do whatever it would take to fix her story. And that's why she was stealing ideas from other books, because she was trying to recreate her story. Will, the character who is younger than the main character, but is also love interest, because that's a thing, one of the things that this book requires is a knight. Damien used to be the princess's knight, but she realized that Damien has fallen in love with a mortal. He fell in love with the main character's mother. And so he's useless to her now, and so she has to go find a new knight, and she ends up picking Will. And we learn something from Damien back when our main character was talking to him, and we learn that the knight dies at the end of the story, and that's why he was never, like, he never longed to go back to his story because then he'd be longing to go back to his death. And that becomes relevant in the end because we realize it was the knight who was the monster. The knight was cursed to become the monster if something happened, like something very specific happened to him. And Will realizes, like, as he's being turned into the knight by the princess, as he's losing control of himself, the only way to defeat the monster, the only way the knight could defeat the monster to protect the princess was to kill himself. And so we go from wonder and majesty and this idea of traveling to this island to learn to jump into books to suicide. Like, that's how this book ends. And then it doesn't end there because guess what? Peter Pan was Will's favorite book, and so as Will's dying breath, like, the main character decides to take Will to his favorite book, to take him to Wonderland, and there Tinkerbell decides to bring him back as a book character, so he's not actually dead. So this happens in the span of like 3 pages. Yeah, look at this cover. Look at this cover. What about this cover tells you suicide and revival trope? I don't like suicide in my books. It's something I am not comfortable. I don't want to read about it. And so the fact that this book, it came out of nowhere. It's self-sacrificing, but death by suicide isn't something I want in my books. I mean, it's a relevant topic. We need to tell people it's out there. We need to show the world that it's something we need to be aware of. But at the same time, that's not what I started reading this book for. And the fact that it was such a crucial moment in this book, even if it was a bad moment, it was important, and then they just brought him back. And the thing is, we get a little snippet of what happens in their lives after Will becomes a book character, and no one acts like it's a big deal. No one acts like it's important. And so the fact that his characters, like the characters in the book world, it's like, oh yeah, we'll just adopt him now. And then Will's parents living in the real world, they are too old to jump. They can't visit their son anymore. Their son literally died and became a book character, and they don't really grieve. They're just like, oh yeah, it's a shame. I wrote something on Goodreads, and it was, I said it here too, but everything was fine until page 269. And I really think that's what this book is. It is beautiful, it is wonderful, I love it, until we get to page 269. And unfortunately, this book ends on 371, so I don't know what I'm going to rate this book. I really don't. Because it doesn't deserve that 3-star thing I said at the beginning. Like, oh yeah, this cover looks like it would be a 3-star book. It doesn't deserve that. But I can't ignore the ending. The ending is not good. Yeah. I finished that book, and now I have to go write an essay on it. And I don't know what I'm gonna do, so. Thanks. Thank you guys all so much for sticking with me through this. I have no idea how long this video is gonna be. I'm probably gonna cut so much. Yeah, it's been so strange because I went into this book thinking, oh, it's gonna be a trashy fantasy romance. And it wasn't. It really wasn't. It was good, it was interesting, and it had fascinating premises. It was totally wish fulfillment, but there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't like how they ended it. So, if you guys have read this book, if you guys have a different opinion than me, or have the same opinion, leave that down in the comment section down below. Don't talk about spoilers down there. I've done that enough in this video. I need to figure out how I'm gonna edit that so other people can watch this, but yeah. I guess with that all being said, good night, good evening, and good morning, everybody.